fun session ahead of us. We're settling into a strange new chapter of our game. And by a strange new chapter, I mean exciting new chapter. Okay, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off. No, let's kick it off. Okay, mechanical section. Um, okay. So we will. Yeah, you guys kind of had the attack. So let us do the reputation section of the game. Let us start there. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. I do believe that in actual point of fact, um, everyone is going to receive a reputation decrease, except for Lois Anna, who will be the sole recipient of a reputation increase. In fact, going forward after the assassination attempt on the house, unfortunately, um, that hurt some reputation around the table. So I'm going to go through and make some quick adjustments. Stalactite. Mr. Cross. Or actually, no, Actually, wait, no, I forgot about Alicia or
Ludwig.
Ludwig. Actually, no, Ludwig, you'll receive an increase because of your little show at court. Will change your fortunes there.
Oh, wow.
And Lois Anna will receive a increase. Awesome stuff. So we have something to do. Mr. Irdrager, Lord Irdrager, I should say.
So,
You are the you will be receiving this session your first reputation tag as you reach 3 reputation points. Congratulations.
oh wow. Thank you. Is it a good one or a bad one?
It is a good one. You may decide for yourself what would be a good sort of reputation tag that you think the people of Fairhaven of Vondair might attribute to Ludwig based on his previous interactions in Fairhaven.
Well, I already said brave. I already have brave, so.
Well, we could put Brave on there because we changed our system up a little bit,
Oh yeah.
so that previous marker might have been removed. So if you wanted to have that now, you could be Ludwig the Brave.
Brave or bold would definitely work.
Okay. Is there a preference? Which one?
Um, I would say. I would say. I mean, both are good, but I feel like. What sounds better, Ludwig the Brave or Ludwig the Bold? I think bold, but because it's going out there and saying you missed to the enemies of House Leora. It sounds a bit bold more than brave, even though they're technically kind of the same thing.
Yeah, technically the same thing. And I think bold also attributes to your other things you've done, like being at court and your willingness to like go up to important individuals. And I think boldness is very fitting for Ludwig. Awesome. So then you shall be known as Ludwig the Bold. And as a reminder, and a general reminder for anyone who has a reputation tag, you do have a reroll as long as that reroll does relate to your reputation tag, of course. Once a day, as a reminder. Very cool. Congratulations, Ludwig.
Thank you.
Um, okay, next part of our phase, which maybe might, possibly explain a little bit of some reputation stuff. Let's go through. So, some existing rumors that are persisting are as follows. Marina de Madani is trustworthy. That one seems to continue to persist, as that has been often described by at least one individual party to everybody. Um, let's see. The unrequited love rumor persists regarding Lord Ludwig Drager has been seen at court with Lady Marina de Madoni, being exceptionally complimentary of her craft, but for some reason Ludwig is apprehensive to court her despite their undeniable spark. Perhaps Ludwig is quick to understand how Dragonmort House matchmaking works. That rumor seems to continue to persist at court for some reason. And the last one that continues to persist is Zorlin de Kenneth has come to court in Fairhold. He is taking Jorlana de Kenneth seriously as a competitor. These are rumors that continue to persist in the rumor mill that have existed. As a reminder, you guys have the ability to scandalize existing rumors, and rumors that are not given any sort of fuel to the fire will disappear after a time. One such example is the rumor regarding Baron Mandrian that described the days prior to the catastrophe above the Golden Dragon, who was seen angrily stomping off from a meeting with an unknown representative of House Lyrander, exclaiming there are other methods of transporting commodities. That rumor has died, as not enough attention has been granted to it. So those are the existing rumors. Now for some new rumors. You better believe recent events has inspired some new rumors.
No, yeah.
The first is the Korenberg Chronicle wrote of an assassination attempt on the House Lenora, I believe is the name. My apologies if I got that wrong. One of them even died. The new house seems ill-prepared for the trials ahead of them. Seems to be something going around the rumor mill. The next is Barons leaving Fairhaven. Many Barons of the Dragonmarked houses have been seen using House Orion and Lyrandar services to leave Fairhaven in defeat after losing the position of founding House 2 of Lenora to Fjarlin. Thank you, Rowan. I will update that. That rumor is in play, sharing now. And the last rumor that seems to be floating around is even after dying at the hands of her assassins and being resurrected, she wrote a front-page article in the Korenberg Chronicle days later. Luisana, none can deny that Luisana is dedicated to bringing the truth to the people. It seems that people are talking about your determination, Luisana. Those are the current rumors in the mill. Would anybody have any interest in scandalizing a rumor? No.
None at this time for me.
Okay. Okay, no scandals. Those will just be the rumors for this week. All right. Moving right along. We will, no tokens to be distributed as of yet. No personal tokens of favor as of yet. Let's see. We will move to our epistolary phase, everybody. Very fun, as there are certainly responses to be had. Let me begin. So the first and foremost will be addressed to the House in general. In response to your letter, Lois, you will receive a response from the desk of Viceroy Yervin de Civis. It is as follows. If, of course, that letter would be read to the House by Rowan, being the Olivier, Lady of House Olivier, you would have received the letter. Would you have read it to the group?
Since it's from Civis, I'd actually hand it to Lois.
Okay, fantastic. Lois, would you have read it?
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful. It reads as, and I will post this, of course, but it as follows. From the desk of Viceroy Yervin de Civis, Enclave of Korenberg, to the esteemed members of House Leora, it is with the highest regards and deepest appreciation that I extend my gratitude for the warmth and hospitality extended to me and my retinue during the recent gathering at your illustrious estate. The evening was nothing short of exquisite. Your household's impeccable sense of refinement and taste is ever evident, not only in your choice of guests, but in the delicacies served at your table. It was an affair most fitting of a house of your reputation, and I was most pleased to have been in attendance. Moreover, I wish to express my sincere hopes that your house is well on the path to recovery following the regrettable attack. The Corenberg Chronicle's account of the incident was most concerning, and the resilience of your family has demonstrated, the resilience your house, sorry about that, has demonstrated in the aftermath is truly commendable. House Leora is quickly becoming a beacon of sophistication and ambition, and it is my most earnest hope that no adversity shall dim its radiance. I would also like to take a moment to recognize the significant honor of my house being considered for the position of a founding house. Such a distinction is no small feat, and it is clear that there are many houses with many visions for the future that have surely caught the attention of your members. It is always encouraging to see houses striving to bring their talents to the greatest stage of Corvair's political and diplomatic landscape. Though, as you know, diplomacy is an art that demands both expertise and precision. I have no doubt that House Fjarland's skills in this arena will only serve to enrich your own in the ever-evolving discourse of our world. May your house flourish, and may our paths continue to cross in mutual beneficial endeavors. With utmost respect and cordial regards, Viceroy Yervin de Civis, House Civis Enclave Cordenberg. Unsurprisingly, Lois, as you hold it, the script will shimmer into a hidden script. Would you like to receive that privately?
Yes, that I would.
Fair enough. Yes, in your hands it does seem to fade into a new script. I will post the first portion of the letter in the Eberron Facebook group. Right now. Beautiful. And coming your way, Eric, is the second portion. On Facebook, of course. Excellent. Okay, that is the first letter that you will receive. The second is going to come from, this would have come very quickly after your decision to accept House Fjarland. A letter from House Fjarland, stamped and sealed. Rowan, would you have read it to the group? Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely.
It reads as, oh yeah, no problem. It reads as follows. From Baron Elvinor oh my god, Elerenthi de Fjarland. To the honorable members of House Lenora, it is with profound gratitude and a sense of destiny that I write to you on behalf of House Fjarland. We are deeply honored by your decision to choose us as your founding house. Allow me to assure you that the certainty of one who, allow me to assure you with the certainty of one who has witnessed the ebb and flow of countless eras, that your choice is most auspicious. House Fjarland stands ready with all of its venerable resources and time-honed expertise to serve as your steadfast patron. In the wake of your recent trials, it is our duty and indeed our privilege to offer you the full measure of our support. We pledge to safeguard your interests, to provide the necessary funds, and to facilitate your establishment throughout Corvair. Most importantly, we shall grant you unfettered access to our premier experts, who have mastered the art of oratory is unparalleled. These wise mentors will ensure that your house is not merely surviving, but flourishing in the intricate tapestry of our realm's political discourse. In the spirit of enduring alliance, I extend an invitation for your house to find refuge within the Demise of Memory. Oh, saying that right again. Where the storied walls of House Fjarland await to provide shelter and solace following your recent devastation. While your new house rebuilds its foundations, I shall remain in Fairhaven to oversee your settlement, offering my counsel and presence as circumstance demands. Furthermore, I have enlisted that our esteemed friend Inara de Fjarland remains at your disposal should you wish to avail yourself of her insight and expertise. It is my sincere hope that this gesture further cements our bond between our houses. May the winds of fortune carry you swiftly to renewed strength and success. I remain as ever your devoted ally and friend. With the highest respect and unwavering trust, Baron Elvinor Elerenthi de Fjarland, House Fjarland, Fairhaven, Corvair.
It's a good thing none of these names are actually tongue twisters, because boy.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Sometimes I actually sit at my desk and prep and spend a good minute just repeating the names back to myself. Oh boy, I will post that letter for you guys.
And even then, you still got the name of our house wrong.
Yep.
Lenora, come on, dude.
Yep.
No,
Please.
no,
I'm
we're
making fun
still
of him.
working.
It's in
It's a
jest.
work in progress.
I say this completely in jest.
I understand. A fine jest. Okay. Those are the letters that you receive, as I believe those were the only two shipped out last session, if I'm not mistaken. Is there any letters that anyone else would like to send as you begin your downtime?
Off the bat, yeah, sure. I'll get some two out of the way. I may send another before the night's over.
Absolutely.
Okay. I have two I'd like to send. One is to my father, and quick question: what's the
Okay.
difference between the what's the difference between the mail service and the courier service?
The mail service is just basic mail, and it just kind of gets thrown in with the rest of the mail and delivered. Courier service is where you hire a personal House Orion member to hand deliver your message. So the courier service is much more secure, as there is a respective individual guarding your package and letter and ensuring its delivery.
Are they faster or?
Not necessarily faster, but certainly more secure. Possibly more faster if it's being sent to a more remote place. Like, for example, if you were sending it to like a remote village in Karnath, then it might take longer for the regular mail service to get it out there because it's kind of going to go all the way to the nearest major city center and then be delivered.
Okay.
So
Okay.
possibly.
Okay, in that case, I will do the courier service, and
Okay.
I'm going to send. Can I send two letters to the same place?
Yeah, of course.
I'll send two letters to the same place, and instruct. I put like another letter in there to say, one is for my father, the other is for my brother Erasmus, and I've included in my letter to my dad. Please send this to Erasmus.
Yeah, you could put the two letters together and like bind them together, and the same courier could deliver them. Yeah.
Okay then, thank you. I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna. And these are like all bull. And these are all like kind of bullet points, general stuff. So I'm about to send you.
Understood.
First one up to Dad. And second up to my brother Erasmus. And these are like general ideas, word for word. Aaron with his amazing pipe once again. But yeah, I will send them both. I'm not sure what the distance is between here and Bastion Keep.
All right. There is a point which I have been a little generous with, which I'm going to put out there. During the morning in the last war, House Orion's lightning rail services have been diminished. You might notice that on the map that their line through Siri has been destroyed, and their line that connects Reckenmark and Thalost has been destroyed as well. So lightning rails of Eastern Corvair and Western Corvair have been separated. While they can still transport things across Corvair, it does take like a long amount of time for them to like ferry it across the river, and it's definitely slowed. Like it's much slower than Civis or transporting it along established lightning rail services. Just as a general reminder to the party, they're not incapable of traveling across these bounds, but it certainly takes longer.
Okay.
Especially for the courier.
Okay. Okay. What would the price be for the courier for this travel be for the courier or the mail service? In that case.
let's see. The courier service is still good because you're going to where the Bastion. So I think it's still probably secure and going to get there faster if you take the courier.
Okay, awesome. How much?
I will begin to work on that. Did you send the letter, or have you wrote a letter? Do you want to just describe its contents?
I send the two letters. I'm going to the first letter to my dad. It's just, and it's for one, I'm an update. Another, hey, I'm alive. Don't worry. And also, and saying like what the situation was, saying it went real. It was scary for a minute, but now we're okay. We'll need to buff up our security. I am asking him about something that we'll discuss later in the game,
Fair enough.
and to my brother Erasmus, I'm saying, uh, reaching out, family stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, and there's no problem if you want to keep some of it private, of course.
I'll keep some of it private for now.
Yeah. No worries there. Where the hell's the Bastion? Oh, there it is. Sorry. I'm gonna get you your price in just a second. Just figuring it all out. So it's gonna be another 40, and then the footwork is gonna be another 130. Okay. It's gonna be plus. Is it's gonna be 10 miles. Okay, with the courier service, it is going to be 91 gold.
91 gold?
Yeah, 1 silver per mile, and that is 910 miles to travel.
Wow. 91 gold. Okay then.
Yep, 91 gold, my friend.
Okay, wow. I may
could
need to
always have it delivered by the standard mailing service, but it's much cheaper. It would only be 9 gold, 1 silver, but it is much less secure and it might take longer to get.
It's Uber Eats versus going to pick it up yourself.
Yeah, I know. Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's not, to be clear, it's not crazy slower. Like, you're not going to be waiting like months extra or even weeks extra. It's just a little slower because it gets mixed up with all the mail, right?
Okay, so it's like,
And now House Orion is not constantly being raided either. So, if you've got enemies and this is sensitive information, yeah, maybe the courier service. But if it's just like a letter home,
I'll do the regular one instead. Like, that's 91 is insane. Like,
yeah, well,
not
that's what you
nine
get for
good.
like a personal heir of House Orion, hand delivering it and braving the wilds. So,
Yeah,
okay, cool,
Yeah, these are in general. It's gonna be like 9 gold, 1 silver piece. I'll do that.
beautiful. 9 gold, 1 silver, and your letters home will be delivered by standard mail.
Okay, 9 gold, 1 silver.
Cool. And behind the screen, I will spend some time and figure out how long that's going to be. But yeah, that's probably not, I'll see. Very cool. And where am I receiving those letters? Just on Messenger? Okay, cool. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Excellent. Ludwig has sent some letters. Does anybody else have some letters they'd like sent around?
No, but prior to the Cronenberg article going out, I do want to send a brief message to my father to let him know I am fine. I'm recovering, but I am fine.
Understood. And you have
the first place he hears from it should not be the paper.
Fair enough. How would you like to have that message sent?
I'm gonna send it by Civis message.
Got it. How many words have we got?
Six.
I'm fine. Article incoming or something like that. Almost died.
I'm fine. I'm recovering. I'm fine.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic.
Did
All
he
right, yeah.
freeze?
Did
No,
I?
I think my internet jumbled a little bit there. I'm good.
No problem. So that'll ring you the steep price of 12 silver, my friend. All right, message sent. I will mark that off. Okay. Letter from letter. I'm fine. Letter essentially. Got it. Okay, beautiful. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to have sent about? Nope. Okay. All right. If that is the end of the letters, I believe that is going to bring us to the end of our mechanical phase, in which case, I guess I'm doing this a little out of order. Let me do the recap as we come into what happens next. So, my goodness, were you guys very busy last session. After a most auspicious meeting with House Fjarlin and House Civis, barons, and important members of those houses all, upon their departure, the party decided in a vote that it was House Fjarlin that they would choose to be their founding house. Lois chose to abstain, displaying integrity for her bias towards her own house, previous house maybe. I believe Holden simply wished to abstain for his own merit, whatever that may be. And between the final three members of House Leora, it was Fjarlin that was decided upon. But in that moment, windows crashed, Deneth's swords flew, and in a surprising assassination attempt, Loisana lost her life. House Deneth managed to get you all out of the room, get you to safety, and by no small measure was the powers of Cross utilized to bring the conflict to an end. While all of you got out, it was surely a trying and traumatic event, maybe an eye-opener about the dangers that are confronting that your house is confronting, whether you know it or not. And then by the persuasion powers of your house, interrogated the survivors of the enemies that attacked. It seems that they are, one of them was inclined to mention they are a part of the crime syndicate known as House Tarkanan, which has been known to harbor members with aberrant dragon marks attached to themselves for purposes of sneak thievery, butchery, and assassination. This is their trade, and dealing out of Sharn. This person said that they volunteered to happily take up the contract against your new house, remarking that you are all scum. It's better to kill you in your infancy. The usual. Dragon Mark people are awful. Fuck the man. You had them shipped off, and you got some sleep. Some messages and letters were sent off. Ludwig endeavored to take Marina out that night, and he does successfully by the end of the day. Let's see what else.
It was a small dinner at the house.
Yep, there's much more. The house is filled with many professionals who are interested to talk to all of you, in which you spent the day dealing with the fallout of the attack itself. A letter of acceptance was sent to House Fjarlin, obviously. A letter of polite declinement to House Civis was sent, and permission to print the story of the Cronenberg Chronicle sent. And let's see. summons to organize the protection services of House Dance Defenders Guild more extensively was sent, and Rowan arranged to meet with Calamoreni to inspect the new Dragon Mark and how it functions, and appointments were organized. Let's see. Rowan agreed to have Killian de Caneth legally declared deceased so that his will may be released. The Olivia estate has been released indeed to Rowan, along with 3 months of financial capabilities to keep the house going after the resurrection of Lois's expenditures to House Fjarlin, which did indeed bring her back from the dead upon her assassination. Some amounts of money and some possessions within House Olivier were returned to House Cannith, but in large, the house remains intact under Rowan's stewardship. So that is now your house, Rowan. Congratulations. The party met with Commander Alathorin Ir Talandar of the Knights Arcane of Fairhaven and Inquisitor Feather of the Sentinel Marshals. Alathorin assures the party that Ondare will do all it can to bring the people responsible for the assassination to justice, but admits the mess of jurisdiction he faces because the crime syndicate is based out of Sharn, which is a Breland city. However, Inquisitor Feather remarks that House Deneth does not need to worry about such jurisdictional issues, and the Sentinel Marshals are on the job out in Sharn, though his main interest is the Golden Dragon investigation. His companions in Sharn will look into this. He also introduced himself to Cross and Rowan, who both expressed a want to help in the investigation. Aid and further association will follow, I'm sure. Lois met with Bramwell Trywell, who is a somewhat reputed freelance reporter for the Corenberg Chronicle around crime and mystery articles. And the two made a deal that he would get to write the story of the assassination attempt on the party. In exchange, he would help Lois out with information to do with House Tarkanan in the city of Sharn, as he intends to continue to pursue those leads. Anara began to arrange protection services for the party through House Kandaric and House Deneth, and probably House Madani as well, and offered you all stay in the Demise of Memory. Ludwig went to the court of Ondare and basically left a statement with the royals there. You missed, essentially. And his boldness was recognized and celebrated, obviously. Rowan asks Lena, her personal bodyguard from House Deneth, to begin to train her and offers her aid to Jorlana de Caneth to become the new monarch despite their choice with the founding house being Fjarlin. We're almost there, people. Sorry, a lot happened. Holden spoke to Pasil, who was making trouble for the guards outside, and invited him into the house for the first time. He and Saroth immediately developed a rivalry over which was Holden's favorite lackey, and he began to make plans to bring them into his confidence. Pasil started spreading rumors of a delinquent named Harmon Joyce grumbling in the lower cities, grumbling about the Dragonmark houses, and Cross hired Whisper, billing House Fjarlin to begin to backtrack the assassins that attacked the house that night. With that, we come to the conclusion of our recap. I'm going to have a drink of water now, and we can begin the session as is proper. As we enter into a little downtime, as your party begins to begin the process of patronage with House Kenneth.
House Fjarlin, you mean?
House Fjarlin, that's right. That is exactly what I meant.
You really needed that water.
I did need that water. That was a lot of words. And thank you for listening to it. So, as we enter into this downtime, some things will become apparent. There will be a bit of a show. Well, let me ask, and I believe this was happening, but I want to ask the party, does the party largely decide to relocate to the, I can never remember how to say it right, the Denise?
Sounds spells on.
Demence.
The Demence. Thank you very much. I'm going to write down that pronunciation. Demence. Okay, beautiful. Does your house, House Leora, wish to relocate from their base of operations in the Olivier House to the one of the primary enclaves of House Fjarlin, the Men's of Memory.
Rowan would be as polite as possible, but essentially say, "We're not staying. Rowan's not staying. We're not staying. We're not. We're not going to continue to put her people in jeopardy. This is not what they. This is not what they do, right? This is
Yeah.
Olivier Estate was not meant to deal with this. So we're going to go to a place that's meant to deal with this."
Agreed. I'll vote same way.
Understood. It is, of course, worth noting that you guys are not being locked inside the Men's. So if you ever wish to return to the Olivier House or whatever you want to do, that is entirely up to you. Absolutely. So you guys, there will be some common things that happen back here. The most prominent will be they will make a little bit of pageantry of all of you sort of coming to the Dements to sort of stay as you come with servants with packed bags and such, and there'll be reporters and people, hoity-toity people outside excitedly sort of watching, as this is a bit of a momentous event where hands are waved and the High Seneschal of the Dements of Memory will sort of say, "We welcome House Finora to a wonderful blah, blah, blah." And there will be a little bit of a show of your guys coming to stay and kind of, naturally they're showing off. The House of Entertainment shows off their victory a little bit. And you are welcome inside. Just wanted to check. That's all I got for now. Off the top, off of the beginning there. And over the next 5 days, as you begin to settle into life in the Dements and the patronage of House Fjarlin, I want to ask what you guys want to do. But one last note before I forget, because this might influence some of you. You guys are receiving benefits from House Fjarlin. I'd like to go through what those benefits are. Their patronage does come with major benefits. Let me see here. Here we go. Okay, I will post these in the Facebook chat. But these are your benefits. You guys are going to receive compensate, like basically an allowance. Each of you individually will receive an allowance from House Fjarlin. Let's see. You are all going to receive. I want to see if this is fitting because this is an adventurer game. Yeah. You are all going to receive an allowance of 50 gold a day from the house. Yep, 50 gold a day. GP a day. You're going to you also all retain a 10% discount to any normal charges that would be associated with House Fjarlin services across Colbert. You also may be able to trade a favor with the house for an extraordinary service or a sizable discount in that sort of alliance sense. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. But the circumstances will need to be navigated personally. Let's see. As well, each of you are going to be issued papers that essentially mark House Fjarlin as your patron house. These papers guarantee you the right to travel freely across national borders on business for either House Leora or House Fjarlin. And essentially, that's that. It means that you can travel between nations without national nonsense worrying about your nationality or anything like that.
Their passports.
Yeah, they're essentially diplomatic passports on behalf of House Fjarlin. You will, of course, have to respect the ancient treaties of the Court Edicts going forward, but you have diplomatic passports, essentially. And those are the current benefits that you all benefit from. And of course, you all have very nice accommodations within the Dements of Memory and in any Fjarlin enclave that you might require sort of room and board from. across Corvair. Okay, I will post those now. And while I'm posting those and getting the specifics done, um, let's get into it. We got some downtime. I want to hear what you guys are up to.
Um, might I go first?
Sure, no problem there.
Okay, after a what Ludwig would consider a very awkward introduction to House Friolin at their manor, at their safe house, lack of a better term.
Yeah,
He,
would you like a description of where you're staying before we proceed?
oh, sure, yeah. Like he's a little put off and somewhat awkward about it because he is a Carnathi and big displays of emotion are weird for his people.
Fair enough, fair enough. Um, okay, I'll tell you a little bit about where you're staying. The Dimensive Memory is nestled in some of the more central hearts of Fairhaven, and uh, this enclave serves as a sanctuary for novelists, playwrights, poets, scholars, and all converging to celebrate and cultivate the literary arts. So this is very much a sort of cultural center and school
Okay.
in larger kind of it's not exactly the Xavier Institute, but there's a somewhat similar vibe. Um, they have an elegant facade of white stone, intricate elven carvings depicting legendary tales, historical events, wide gardens, arched windows with natural light. The stained glass seems to morph and change, giving way to sort of the illusionary uh, reputation of House Fjarlin. There is a grand atrium that is filled with guests, experts, dragon marked heirs, students. Marble floors gleam underfoot. Um, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I can expand on that later on. But you essentially enter into this, again, almost Xavier Institute manner, except in the middle of the city, where beautiful sprawling gardens, marbled walkways, grand chambers, poets' gardens, halls of playwrights, and your own personal quarters amongst the residential section of the demesnes. So that is kind of where you're staying, and I can go into detail when we enter into like a more linear portion of the game.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we can go into that more later.
Yeah.
Two things off the top of my head. One somewhat quick, and another more in depth. The quick one first. I'm going to stop by the royal court to talk with the Carnathi ambassador real fast.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way in there.
I'll ask Soren to stand back for a little bit to if I might have some privacy with him. With him.
Salutes. We'll wait at a distance.
I I give I give the ambassador a salute, greeting him again. And
Absolutely.
I'll give him an update about what happened. Ambassador Dravok, Thalik. I'll give him an update about what happened and everything. And I'll also ask him. I don't mean to stay for long, but two things. Have you heard any updates about the information I requested?
Remind me, what was that information?
About like any background checks, back of a better term, about my new allies.
You contracted his services rather recently.
Yeah.
I will say towards the end of the downtime, let me roll a little investigation check. He says that as far as he can tell, or as far as his sources can tell, there is no record of any of the members of the party spending time in Karnath. None of the official records can find any evidence that any of them has spent any time in Karnath, or even fought against Karnath in the war. So unfortunately, his results turn up little. Karnath has no knowledge on your party,
Okay, that's perfectly fine. But
other
I've
than stuff that the rest of the nations would know about. So
okay.
there's no unique information.
Okay, one last thing. I have one of the people who's come onto my radar is Soren Dedeneith. He's a good man as far as best of my knowledge, but he also said, and he helped save my life save the lives of me and my me and my allies. I trust the man, but I just want to verify a few things. He says that he served Karnath during the last war. I just wish to verify this.
Says, I would not be. He says, I would not be surprised. House Denith has always largely operated out of Congress. Um it escapes me at the moment, but the headquarters of the Dragonmarked House is in Karnath. It would be unsurprising. I can look into this with more detail if you wish, but obviously his military records would be limited, considering he was not technically a part of the Karnathi military.
I only wish to know. All I ask is not confirmation that he served with us. That's all I'm asking.
I can easily secure that information.
Thank you, Ambassador. If there's anything you need from me, don't be afraid to ask.
And just to speed that along, he will similarly come to because it's a downtime, so you can tell him at the beginning of the week. At the end of the week, he would give you that information about your allies, that none of them are Karnathi citizens, none of them have spent significant time in Karnath, as far as the records of his sources know, and that indeed there are mercenary records of Soren de Canath who did serve with excellence.
Okay, good to know. I thank him, and I go and I move on to the other big thing I wanted to know about.
For sure.
I'm going to try and find Lady Inara de Fjarlin.
Lady Inara de Fjarlin, no problem there. She has been made available to your party. That's another good question for the entire party. Upon arriving at the Enclave, or at any point, would you guys have had an interest in her sort of daily involvement in your party's activities, or are you fine with her remaining sort of a teacher at the Demets?
I'm personally fine with. I don't need daily interaction, but that's up to the rest of the members of the group.
I personally don't need like any kind of like interference from Fiala. If that's like, you know.
Yeah, like she's not going to be like riding you guys or anything like that. But
Yeah.
like if you wanted her to be made available in an advisory way or something, she could be made available to you, in whatever capacity you appreciate.
Yeah, I think for me, just being available in general, if we seek her out, is good enough for me at least.
Cool. Sweet.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Any preference for you there? Rowan, you're she's your buddy.
I am literally just getting back to the table. So are we asking about how close I want Inara to be?
Yeah, did you as the letter said, she can be made like personally available to you at all hours. So would you like you're going to be in the same building as her most of the time, but do you want her to be sort of like made personally available to Housley or as like in a sort of like advisory whatever position, or is it enough that she's in the Dements?
I would like that, but I want to get a feeling for it, because if nobody else wants that, that's fine too. You know, it's not something I feel strongly enough to fight about, but it's absolutely something that I could see the advantage in.
Okay. I will say then, simply because of the majority, and this can change. I will say that you are told that this can change at any time, but for the time being, then she will indeed remain technically a professor of oration here. But you can still go find her while she's doing her classes or whatever. Okay, sorry, Ludwig, please continue.
And that's what
you find her.
And that's what I'll do. I'll come in and see her But so you're giving an orientation class, I suppose. And see how that goes before I interrupt.
Yeah. In very sort of almost like musical theatery class kind of way. Like she's there working with various like sort of playwright students and maybe some members of House Fjarl, heirs of House Fjarl, mostly people who've come to study. Sort of like as a professor, and you like sit in the back row and wait for the class to finish. And when the class finishes, she approaches you and she says, "Lord Draga, it is good to see you. Or should I be calling you Lord de Leora now?"
I'm still getting used to that. Forgive me. It's a bit like walking into a new pair of shoes, lack of a better term.
It will take time to get used to, of course.
If I may, could I have a chat with you about something?
Please, of course. And she will gesture for you to sit in one of the
Student
seats here
seats.
in the hall. Yeah.
Since Fiolin has made itself known for us for its intelligence work, as well as your way of knowing things, as you showed off earlier, I would ask, what do you know about House Tarkonnen? I am new to this world, and I'm not sure if I've ever heard of them before.
I can tell you a bit. It is not a house that most Dragon Marked members are unaware of. They are a deplorable bunch. They are criminals and murderers. They naturally have a personal grudge against the Dragon-marked houses. They are unified in that they all have the aberrant dragon mark, which is not. It is very dissimilar to the regular dragon marks of the other houses, the one that you possess, the one that I possess, and so forth. Whereas ours are designed for in different ways to benefit the world, mine, entertainment for the most part, and yours seems to be for diplomacy. Their dragon marks are most often grant them powers of destruction. They are no two are the same, but they all seem to share a purpose in destruction and blowing things up. They are very dangerous people, and the Tarkanian House is a criminal guild of assassins and murderers who will pay for pennies, or will work for pennies.
Deplorable bunch, clearly, but why would they want to kill us?
Well, they are probably angry at us for our position, like many displeased peasants or groups of people who are, sadly, how do I put it? Put into poorer positions. It is not that we hate them for what they are, it is that what they possess steers them towards evil. Tarkanian specifically are people who acknowledge the destructive powers of their mark and use them for evil ends, and have a particular grudge against us. We are natural enemies.
Is that it? Is it and what happens when you find one who has an aberrant mark? Is it illegal? Is it what?
It's not illegal to have a mark per se, but more often than not, we simply, when you run into one, chances are that they have a criminal record behind them, so you turn them into the authorities. Especially if they are members of House Tarkan. They are a guild of murderers and thieves. Association alone might as well be a crime of first-degree attempted murder, probably, at the very least.
This aberrant mark, where did it come from?
Nobody's entirely sure. I am certainly no expert, but from what little I've heard, there's mixed theories. Some more often than not, people tend to understand that they just sort of pop up randomly. Sometimes large-scale magical events can trigger them, from what I heard from certain scholars, but that seems to be largely the idea, is that they are random. With that said, rumor has it that more of them have been popping up ever since the morning.
I immediately thought the same thing. It's if they're caused by stray magic or magical events, it's impossible the morning didn't awaken more of them.
The morning is still a subject of study. There could be, I mean, your own Miss Lord Cross seems to have taken on rather strange abilities due to his own proximity to the moon end.
Clearly.
I have seen for myself the devastation it's caused, the randomness of its magical destruction. If I'm not mistaken, there are certain Dragonmarked houses who have more interest in its clinical, theoretical study than House VR. We are the House of Entertainment.
True. This creates a whole question, and not a question for me, and I'm by no means I'm in no intent to be rude, but why do none of the Dragonmark houses try to recruit the Aberrants before House Tarkanan can?
Well, I suppose a fair question to the uninitiated. More often than not, they turn out to be bad eggs. I think there is a bad taste for them. I've never heard of one that didn't turn out to be some kind of maniac or criminal or murderer of some kind. It is what they are. Just as I suppose I was born to be an orator or entertainer of sorts, it seems by the grace of your new mark, you were born to perform diplomatic measures. And Rowan was born to build things, and so on and so on, and they were built to destroy and ruin lives.
But destroying isn't an act of destroying isn't necessarily always a nasty thing. Sometimes it can be a useful thing.
That is, I think, the Carnathian side of you speaking,
Is it though?
Lord Leora, if I am being polite. I think Corvair has had enough destruction to last its many centuries.
True, but it keeps happening. I remember this one phrase. I remember reading an old book. I remember reading an old book in my family's castle, in the library. It said something along the lines of those who refuse to kill will always be subject to those who are willing to.
I suppose there is wisdom in that.
Do you have any books about this aberrant mark or House Tarkanan? I'm curious to do research.
You're in the wrong place for that sort of thing. You'd be better off seeking out a place of knowledge. We have knowledge here, but, well, for oration, for memory. You could try the archive of memory here in Demets. We have many sensitive documents that have stored to catalog certain tales of history, historical records, personal journals, and such. But I think you'd be more better off trying to seek out the places of knowledge in the land. The Arcane Congress with Arcanics, maybe even the University of Wainan here in Fairhaven, but I mean, you are not a student. You could always try.
Well, thank you. Arcanics and what else? The University of Wainan and Shaw.
Yes, the University of Wainan here in the city of Fairhaven. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Rowan is a graduate. Maybe you could leverage her to help you?
perhaps thank you again for your help, Lady Fioland. If you ever holding poetry classes, I might be willing to listen in and hear what the students say.
We always are holding poetry classes. We
Yes,
also
well,
hold, well, since you're getting such a handy discount with House Fjarlin, we do oration work that is, shall we say, directed at certain individuals for good or reputable ill. So let us know.
interesting. My brother would have loved this place. And he mutters to himself, "Thank you very much, Lady Fioland. Have a very good day."
You as well.
And anyone else want to take a turn?
Yeah, why don't we swap up the turns? Good thinking, Ludwig. Who would like to take a spin at their downtime?
Sure, I will.
All right, Mr. Lackyard.
Yeah. First, I'm gonna try to seek out Anna Dimadani.
Yes, Anna Dimadani, no problem. You do indeed find her at the guild. You wanted to like take her out to eat or something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask her. Anna, so nice to see you again. I was wondering, if you might be free after work this evening, for a dinner, just the two of us.
Uh, sure, okay. As long as it's, not as stuffy as the last one.
No, as a matter of fact, that's part of my offer. Is an apology, for the fact that I've introduced you into such intense circumstances recently. This is going to be much more casual and enjoyable. Just the two of us, just you and
Okay, I'll give you a second chance.
I. Very well. I'm always one to appreciate a good second chance.
Yeah, and she'll put on something nice, and you guys can go out to any of the fine restaurant establishments or wherever you'd like to go. Perhaps a House Galanda restaurant of good repute.
Sure. And I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time, but he'll start the conversation out um, very casually, very much like a social date. How was your day
Yeah,
today? How was work? Tell me about your day at work.
yeah. Why don't you make me just like a general persuasion check to see how well you butter her up?
25.
She's like a little reserved coming in. She's like, okay, the place is very nice. He's taking me out. He pulled up my chair. Very good. And after like 20 minutes, you got her like eating out of your hand. Like she's like you're so charming, and she's just like super into it, and she remembers why she liked you, and she's just like googly eyed and like loving it. And yeah, you've properly plied her with kind words and maybe a little bit of
So I think that since we're talking about your uh, occupation, I think you told me before that you're a member of the House of Warning. Is that correct?
yeah, the warning guild. That's right.
Oh, right, the Warning Guild, exactly. How does that work exactly? What is that useful for? What sort of services does the guild provide?
Well, I mean, we're kind of working for you right now, aren't we? In a way, I mean, the Warning Guild is counterintelligence. So we kind of, spy on the spies a little bit. So, we there's different things that we do. We have two different like sections of our work. We have the bodyguards and the inquisitives and stuff like that. But then some of us just work in like counterintelligence, and we make sure that like people don't learn valuable information.
That's got to be an extremely interesting position to be in recently. I I did, I really haven't heard. I've heard of the of course I wouldn't, right? I shouldn't be hearing publicly of these things, but I haven't heard anything about House Dimadani's or the Warning Guild's participation in the Golden Dragon. I mean, it does seem people were quite taken off guard there. There anything there that House Madani had a part in?
Well, honestly, like the rumor around the Enclave is that like we didn't get contracted to work the Golden Dragon party, and like the rumor is that I think that the royal family felt confident in the abilities of the Eyes of Dare, which is like
Mm.
the Fairhaven the Fairhaven sort of spy people. So they used them
Sh-
instead, and I think they're trying to like save face right now, if I had to guess.
Sure, that must have been interesting water cooler talk on the day after when it appears that the eyes seem to have failed in a job that Madani could have possibly done a little better.
Well, let's just say that maybe a representative of the court of Fairhaven came pretty quickly to us after everything happened that night. I'm pretty sure
And
the whole enclave was hired to scry and scan all of Fairhaven.
it seems like I don't know if you've seen today's paper, but it seems that we could have benefited from your services as well recently at House what's it called? What's
Madani?
no Rowan's the estate.
Olivier Estate.
Oh yeah. At the we could have done with your services as well at the Olivier estate. We were also taken quite off guard. We did in fact have our Denith guards with us, but they certainly did not provide us any advanced warning of a possible attack.
No, that's a margin. I think I think I heard it said that the three tenets of security for anybody worth protecting is House Deneth Defender bodyguards, House Madani Eyes to stop threats before they begin, and House Kundak to make sure that your shit doesn't get stolen.
Well, it must be interesting times indeed for House Madani, as obviously it wouldn't be transparent to the general public, someone like me, the types of things that House Madani may be nipping in the bud before they transpire, of course. But knowing that recently there've been a number of major, um, shall we call them, relatively successful terrorist attacks. Uh, I can only imagine the flurry of activity that must be happening in your guild.
Well, I mean, like, we don't want people to be getting hurt or anything, but I don't know, you can't help but smile when bad things happen to people who have been reluctant to hire our services. I think House Kandaric especially, they have such a perfect record. You know, when House Kandaric comes in, like they do their full shebang, like you're good, you know, and we do really good too. So we kind of stop things before they happen, whereas House Kandaric happens as people are walking through the door, and then House Deneth is, you know, if they get past all of us.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Oh, well. I'm sorry, I haven't even asked yet. How's your dinner?
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Would I was thinking, perhaps after some dessert, uh, maybe a brief walk in the cool evening air. Um, doesn't have to be about anything particular, just some time to let our food digest.
Oh, I would love to have dessert with you, Lord Lackyard.
Well, then let us commence with the rest of the evening, and he'll conduct the rest of the evening as a proper date, hopefully.
Got it. And she'll hang off your arm and be very flirtatious. And yeah, if you want to take her for a walk, she'll like have her arm around your arm, and you know she's got all the butterfly signs, and yeah, you wined and dined her real good. Um, uh, what happens? How do we conclude this date?
Oh,
Unless there's
let's
something you wanted
see.
to do before the date's over, of course.
No. That'll.
You want to Jack the Ripper her
Not.
in the park, take her out.
I'm, I'm not to that part yet. Don't read ahead, Ryan. No, he will just try to, I guess, at the end of their walk, we'll try to walk her back. I guess he'll ask her, if she'd rather be walked back to a some sort of residence, or if she'd rather be just walked back toward the office, and he can drop her off there. But he'll drop her off wherever she likes in the evening, with a nice and suggestive smooch, but nothing beyond that. He'll leave her at the door.
Yeah, she definitely says, "Oh yeah, my house is that way, and like, do you want to come in for coffee and all of that?" And you're all, "Oh, tonight, my dear," and sort of like kiss her hand and give her a smooch and leave her breathless.
Perhaps another time. I don't want to spoil an otherwise perfect evening, or um not spoil necessarily. I don't want to overshadow an otherwise perfect evening. We'll save that for another time.
I want you to make a deception check because I think we both know why.
That is a 26.
26. She goes, "You're such a gentleman. Okay, let's do this right." And she'll allow you to kiss her hand, and you'll leave her, and she definitely like like you don't see it, but like she closes the door and like puts her back to the door, and she's, "Oh, he's the perfect man," and all of that. And she'll think you're just the cat's ass, of course. And you think you probably leave feeling pretty good about yourself.
Good. All right. That being, I do have one other downtime thing. You can wait until next round, or I can go ahead with it now, depending on how everybody wants to proceed.
Absolutely, you've gained a relationship point with Anna Dimadani. If you wish to pursue something more than that, this would be you could make that suggestion to her and begin to form a bond boon, a deeper
Oh,
bond, and maybe gain a token of favor. If you were
yeah.
to suggest that to her and continue to pursue that, but she is ready now. She has all the relationship points necessary.
Actually, let's go ahead and move forward with that. I guess we'll have that conversation at the door as well. Um, well, while I am going to leave you alone tonight, I don't. I've only recently come into town just before the Golden Dragon event, so I don't really know a lot of people in town, and I have to be honest. I'm really, really enjoying your company. I thought maybe perhaps we could do this more often, maybe on a somewhat regular basis. You're wonderful company to have along, even though I know that some of the events I've taken you to haven't been as enjoyable for the two of us.
She's just like looking at you, like kind of like you expect she's hearing like blah blah blah. My name's Holden, blah blah blah. I'm so charming, blah blah blah. And she's like, yeah, whatever you, yeah. She just it's kind of like, of course, you're so right.
So yeah, all right then. Shall we consider this an ongoing um,
You wish to,
domestic partnership of sorts?
oh, you wish to like formally court me, basically, but we can't. She'll like look both ways. She'll like, I can't let anybody know because like I'm Madonna, you're Leora.
Oh,
No one could know.
I have to be honest with you. I actually sort of enjoy a little bit of secrecy and deception in my life. So I think that'll make things most exciting.
Oh, Lord Lackyard, you cad. How can I resist? And yeah, she'll like plant one on you, and it'll be that whole passionate like 80s like and like or whatever, and yeah, she'll like leave at the door, and she'll be like, I guess I'll be seeing you soon. And we will, and she like leaves in your hand like I'll say like, oh, what does she leave in your hand?
Her handkerchief.
No, that's far too formal. This is going to be a little bit more secretive.
An
A
earring.
bracelet?
Ooh, something
Garter.
like that. Yeah,
Like a
Garter.
Like a charm bracelet or charm offer bracelet?
Yeah, it's not bad. I will say that she like takes like one of those like hair combs that like sort of hold the hair
Yeah.
in place. She takes like this like small jeweled hair comb and she'll like put it in your hand. And it has like the subtlest Braille-ish design to it. There's nothing inherently Madonna about it, but it
Sure.
is still like a token of favor. She like puts it in your hand and like kisses you on the cheek and she says, like, this will be so much fun. But remember, we can't tell anybody. It would ruin both of us.
A secret between the two of us. Something that only you and I know. And he gives her a little wink, opens up his jacket and like kind of pushes the pin through the inside lining of his jacket and holds it to his chest.
Alongside all the other ones.
Yeah.
All your other secret paramours.
There are like 3 dozen other ones inside his jackets.
So with that, you, Holden, will have gained a token of favor from your secret paramour, is what I'm writing in her character handout. She is now your secret paramour. Fantastic. Most despicable. Okay, incredible.
Why despicable?
Go ahead and take inspiration. That was funny.
What are your
Thank you.
intentions, Aaron?
Yeah,
Always
what are your
bad.
intentions, my daughter? Get away. You Leoris and your words.
I'm gonna have to start gathering tiny pebbles to throw at the window.
Exactly. Anna, lend down your hair.
Now I have to buy a
And then-
motorcycle.
Yeah, Anna, lend down your tied together bed sheets onto the back of my motorcycle. Okay, incredible. Yeah, we'll come back to Holden and see what's going on with other folks. Who else would like to go? Crossrun Loisana.
Lois is really very simple since she's spending most of this in recovery. He wants to spend some time talking with Kira,
Okay.
and
No problem.
the nature of which is really very straightforward. I need to understand how I can help her protect me better.
Understood.
So are there code phrases for that bodyguarding work? Are there what can I do to make her job easier?
Understood. She will say, she goes, I really appreciate your mean to try and make my job easier. But I wish to ensure that my being here is as undisruptive as possible. And thanks to the funding of House Fjarlin, I think that there's going to be far more resources available. There will be members of the Blademark Guild that will be under my personal command that can ensure that locations you enter and exit are a little extra secure. I would understand if you distrust me, but if you decide to continue with me, I will ensure that everything is as secure as possible to as little interference with your personal life as possible.
I want you to know up front that you have my complete trust. The situation that we have found ourselves in is unusual. The opportunity for these terrorists to make a name for themselves against an easy target, something that's very public, was too good an opportunity for them to pass up, and they didn't.
And they didn't.
But
Well,
that's not something. That's not something that was foreseeable because it was so far outside of our respective histories. The other existing houses have been around for long enough that they didn't represent a truly vulnerable target. And we did. And we put all of the eggs in one basket, not understanding the level of enmity that these bad actors have for us. So that entire event did nothing to alter my perception of the value of your service, and I look forward to us being able to build a relationship where we can work in a mutually beneficial way going forward. So please understand that's very much where I'm coming from, and I look forward to that opportunity.
well, again, thank you for your faith. I'm not so proud of House Denise that I would compromise the safety of my clients on behalf of them. Security is being funded by Fjarnan. I'm going to try and reach out to House Kandaric to establish some extra protections around him. Anyway, this is all to say that thank you for your faith, and I won't let you down.
And that's the peace and recovery that Loisana wanted to do with her. Loisana also wanted to audit some of the oratory classes.
Okay.
To get a handle on cadence and diction and things like that, because she's primarily a writer, and can handle the written piece. But if we're gonna truly go in on the diplomacy piece, understanding language from that oratory end is going to be a necessity.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm looking to do the deep dive immersion in.
Absolutely. Yes, you're more than welcome to essentially be provided some level of training as a measure of teachings and such to do with oration and the written word and so on and so forth. So absolutely, if you wanted to spend a portion of this week in training, you certainly could. Let's see. Um, they very uniquely, this particular demence does provide skill training in certain charismatic skills. It's not something that you will find just anywhere. Trainers often just provide skills or tools, but here they can provide certain proficiency trainings. So, yes, if you wanted to learn a little bit, you could pick up a class. So, is there a particular skill or
I would
proficiency you'd like to gain?
I would think persuasion is probably the one that dovetails best uh, with our mark, and it's something that she has zero skill with.
Fair enough. You will end up taking the oration class that is indeed taught by Professor Renard de Fjarlin, and she'll be very happy to see you at class. Um, let's see, what is your intelligence score?
19.
That's very good. This is going to go a little quicker for you than others. So for you, it is going to take 6 work weeks. So 30 days. 38-hour days to be specific. So at the end of the day, let's see here. So 6 work weeks, which are 5 days each. It'll take 30 days and 240 hours of learning to gain this proficiency. Normally, it is going to cost 25 gold a week to take this class. But because of your wonderful discount with House Fjarlin, that is going to be discounted. Let me see here. So yeah, with a 10% discount for these training services. So it's going to take you 6 work weeks. Tuition is 25 gold. And then with your 10% discount, at the end of the day, it's going to cost you 15 gold to pay for the class in its entirety.
Okay.
Excellent. So yeah, mark off the 15 gold. And if you want to attend class every day for this work week or for this downtime week, you can mark off a work week and you'll have 5.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And you'll have 5 weeks left before you gain your skill proficiency. As you are trained by the lovely Professor Anara. And I'll say, let me ask you, Lois, what kind of student do you think Lois is?
Particularly because she can't do anything, super ambulatory. Because she's got all the physical recovery from the raised dead. This week, anything that can occupy her mind while her body improves, she's 110% right there.
Got a very attentive, very, very focused student, which Anara will present and that will, appreciate. And you will indeed gain a relationship point with her. It is worth noting, Ludovic, you gained one as well in your previous interaction with her. So very cool. And as a note to folks across the board, 2 relationship points is for the most part going to be enough to begin to pursue a deeper bond with someone, however you would wish that bond to manifest. Just so everybody knows. There are exceptions, like for example, the Queen will require many more relationship points, but generally speaking, 2 is the minimum. So just as a general relation note. Fantastic, Lois. Well, why don't we circle back to you in a minute? I want to hear from Ronan Cross. Which of you would like to go first?
I guess that's me.
All
I mean,
right.
you know what I want to do. We're heading
Yep, I
south.
certainly do. Your bodyguard will look at you and say, um, "Are you sure about this, Lord Cross? I, I'm sorry for the security breach at Olivier Manor. I hope that this order is not a reflection of the security breach."
Well, I can't deny that. I will say that your personal performance I have no issue with, but I am, shall I say, between the Golden Dragon and the death of one of my companions, House Beneath is looking, dare I say, incompetent in my eyes. So, for the moment, I feel I would be better served moving relatively quietly by myself than with a armed guard by my side. I'll
If
need
this
your
is what
services again if I when I return to Fairhaven.
he definitely looks like ashamed and disappointed, and he'll say, "Very well, sir. If that is what you feel you must do, my lord, then I must follow your commands." And you
Best
go.
look to and away I go.
Sorry, beautiful. Um, Understood. Interesting. Okay, you board the lightning rail. Um, I will ask, do we want to keep some of your activities a secret? And if we talk about them here, I keep them vague.
Uh, yeah, that might be best.
Understood. Understood. Why don't you describe as much as you're comfortable describing about what you're doing, and I will follow you. I'll follow your lead if that works for you.
Um, my words carefully here.
Yeah. Otherwise, we can just deal with it behind the screen and simply say cross disappears.
Um, let's say Cross disappears
Understood. Um,
just for the week. Cross is gone.
for the week, cross vanishes. No sign of cross. Oh, you did. Hang on a second. I'm just figuring something out really quick. Okay. I'm just getting your expenditures paid for, sir. Be just a moment. Hmm. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see. So it's evident you're taking the lightning round. Do you want steerage, standard, or first class? How fancy are you,
Ooh,
Cross?
how fancy am I? I'm trying to be pretty unassuming here, so I may go with the lowest level, I guess.
Got it. If that's the case, you are stuffed into a. This is like the airlines, right? This is like
Yeah.
coach and airlines where you're just like basically stuffed on a bench with like four people shoved onto the same bench as you. The
Yeah.
one in front of you and the one behind you is very close. Your bags are like stuffed into the upper things. You are amongst the
Hmm.
the lowly folk.
And definitely for this journey, I'm keeping my face because I do not want my mark to be seen.
Fair
I'm
enough. You
just,
cover up.
yeah, I'm just another Warforged.
You're not the only person doing so. Yep, but you're kind of stuffed into this very small compartment. You're happy probably that you can't smell too good because you're a robot, and you don't need to eat or drink or use the bathroom because this is pretty miserable
Yeah.
for all these fleshy folks. So at the end of the day, you are going to. That's gonna be a. That's gonna cost you for a round trip. It's gonna cost you 90 gold.
That's fine.
Yep, 90 gold for a round trip. Okay. Does anyone attempt to? Do you leave anything behind, Cross, to let anybody know where you've gone to?
Simply a letter that states that I'm heading south, but I don't give any details about like what I'm doing.
Understood. Um. Okay. Yeah.
Does it? Do you leave details about time? How long you'll be gone?
Only that I'll be back within the week, I think, like or at the end of the week. 7 days away.
7 day journey, I believe.
Mm.
One thing I will give you that I don't think matters if I give it to you in person is, um, when you get off the lightning rail at your destination cross, you're a fairly perceptive fellow, and it doesn't take long for you to realize you're being followed.
Yeah.
And you recognize the gentle, warm glow of Bastion underneath a heavy cloak. Would you? He's keeping his distance, and for the normal man, is being fairly stealthy. But you're a fairly perceptive individual, and you've got an eye on your shoulder, and you kind of
Oh,
you
yeah.
kind of catch on at a certain point.
This is their own fault. I don't acknowledge it, but I'm aware of it.
Understood. Understood. I want to see if he knows that you know. Um, okay. You were, for the rest of the trip, you were largely aware of him, and doesn't he doesn't eavesdrop as far as you know. Like if you're like sitting in a restaurant, he's like on the other end of the restaurant. Or
Yeah.
if you're walking down an alley, he's like 30 feet behind you.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
What?
confront him.
Yeah, yeah. You confront him at maybe. So, how do you want to confront him? How do you want to set the scene?
Let's say like, yeah, like I'm in the actually, I'm wanting to go to a restaurant, but let's say I'm like, I don't know, in like a public place, but like like a bench or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're in a public place. You're on a bench, sort of like on the side of the street, and you kind of catch him like turn down this one alley, and as he like or like lean up against a wall, and as he peeks, like you can catch it. You want to like catch his eye? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
You catch his eye, and he kind of like you see there's a bit of a slump of his warforged shoulders underneath his like thick burlap cloak that he's got sort of concealing him. And he'll like wander over and like sit down beside you, and he will say, "I'm sorry, my lord."
Espionage is ill-fitting someone of your station, and I don't appreciate my wishes being ignored.
I understand, sir, and I apologize for the sneakiness, but I did not intend to eavesdrop on you. It was only my intention to ensure your protection and perhaps prove myself worthy of your continued service.
Do you want to know why I'm here, Bastion?
Only if you wish to tell me, sir, for it is not my business. Only my only business is ensuring your protection.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about the ways you might change the world if you had the power to do so? A vision of your ideal future, perhaps an ideal master.
He thinks to himself. He says, perhaps at times, but as skilled as I like to think myself is as a warrior, I am just that, a warrior. I was not built to change the world, but I was built to protect and defend and attack. As for an ideal master, I have said it before, my admiration for your accomplishments, Lord Cross. I do not wish to disappoint you.
I was lost for a long time after the treaty. I didn't have a history to fall back on, so I could only lean on those who felt as lost as me. But there was this one Warforged I met, who I still think about often. Strong, inspiring, so clear in self-directed purpose. I couldn't make much sense of them at first, but they kept talking about this vision of the future. A future where the Warforged is no longer something to be built, used, and then thrown away. A future where we serve one of our own, rather than those who once traded us like common tools. I like to think that hearing them speak repaired something deep inside me, reconnected my heart and mind. I dream of the world they describe in my hours at rest.
Make me a persuasion check. I hear the evil cackle on.
14.
14. He says, this Warforged sounds, as you say, inspiring. Perhaps the best of us, Warforged.
The best would be how I would describe them.
Again, Lord Cross, it is not my business. But if I was to pursue this curiosity, is that why you have come to Sharn?
Yes. There's a future I would like to see come to pass. There's things in this world I would like to change. Certainly in the ways that Warforged described. And being here would perhaps make that dream closer to reality.
I am honored to be brought into your trust, Lord Cross. You are important to the Warforged people, I would say, due to your position. If you believe that this is something worth our time, worth the Warforged's time, I am all the more excited to be in your service, if you will allow it to continue.
Is he being genuine? Like,
Make an insight check.
24.
You sense you're fairly certain that he is earnest. Warforged are not the most expressive of creatures, but you are a Warforged and you can find those subtle hints. You sense that he does have great admiration for you, and anyone that you would have admiration for, someone you would consider a mentor, perhaps is someone that he should respect. So you do sense that this Warforged Bastion, he isn't a broad thinker like you. He
Hmm.
thinks his place in the world is I'm a blade, I'm a warrior, I'm a defender.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's my purpose. And he is glad that that is in service of you. So he has admiration for you, and by extension, this person you describe.
Then, for the time being, while we're here, you may as well be my sword and shield. It may be that I'll need you, but if things work out the way I intend, no harm will come to me.
I will do all in my power to maintain your protection, and I will not get in your way, Lord Cross.
Very well. At this point, I'll remove like my face covering so that my mark is now clearly on display,
Fair enough.
for absolutely anyone to see.
Understood.
And now we wait.
Yes, Lord Cross. Um, and he will be very protective of you going forward. Like he doesn't get in your way, but like where you are, there's no shortage of seedy looking individuals. He definitely like shoos off a few straggly looking fellows, or intimidates this gang of kids walking by to like walk across the street essentially, and he's like very protective of you. And I'll tell you what, we will have your special interaction perhaps at break cross in a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'll send the rest of you on your way for break, and then me and Cross can have a little private interaction, which is entirely acceptable in this game of intrigue. So, um, yeah. So we'll steer away from Cross, and it sounds like there's still plenty to do for everybody. But Rowan, why don't we hear from you a little bit? What do you got going on this week?
All right, so day by day, before she packs up what she needs to, she's going to get down to her workshop and do two things. She's going to make sure that Spot is in tip-top shape, and maybe lay in a few upgrades she's been wanting to do. Maybe get the mechanics.
I will
working a little
say,
more
absolutely.
flavor-wise.
As a quick note, as a quick narrative note, just to make you sad, unfortunately, as you guys are like packing up the Olivier estate to head over to the Dements and yeah, to repair Spot, like you went the workshop in particular, you will notice like many of the facilities in the workshop it's been sort of gutted, and perhaps returned to Kenneth. And you look around your smithy, some of your tool sets, they've kind of been gutted and taken away and returned to House Kenneth. But bittersweet, while that's been taken, um, uh, Killian's personal set of Tinker's tools, which bear the mark of many years of work, are given to you, like from him to you, kind of as a sort of personal passing along, from one House Kenneth fabricator to another. And so you will have Tinker's tools, but just that little narrative note. You go into your usual workshop, and it's mostly empty.
I had all my own tools from school. It's fine.
Nonetheless, those are there if you require them, or they can remain as an heirloom that
I
stays in your room.
would like to use them.
Okay, fantastic. Absolutely.
So, first order of business is to get Spot up and running and using her weaver's tools. See if she can replicate the armor so that she can look like she's wearing a suit, because she is a smith and she has weaver's tools. She
Yes, you are.
spec'd it out for a reason, and that was. I realized that he thinks that she was checking him out, but it wasn't about that. It was about the suit. It really was about the suit.
I think the note did say
She's
that
still a Kenneth.
absolutely. I think the note did state that he like noticed you were checking out his suit and made the joke about my eyes are up here. So, absolutely, you can attempt to make one for yourself. I'll tell you what. We'll do a little series of checks really quick. First and foremost, you're proficient with smithing tools, so I'll give you advantage. I want you to make me an investigation check to see if you can like figure out the essence of what he was wearing.
Oh wow, so I got a dirty 20 to check it out and he still caught me? Perceptive booger, isn't he?
Uh-huh. He's a sentinel marshal, man. They need keen eyes.
Okay, to be clear, I get to roll that at advantage. That's what you said?
Yes, because
Okay.
of your smithing tool proficiency.
No, that's fine. So what exactly?
Actually, sorry, hang on a second.
Neither roll is bad. So either way, I just got to know what I'm rolling or what the modifier is.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking that up for you. Are you proficient with leatherworkers tools?
No.
All right, this will be a straight roll then. So take the first of your rolls.
Leatherworkers. Wait, no. I was using weaver's tools. Okay,
I understand you were using
try.
weaver's tools.
I got it. All right, that's fine. So if I'm not rolling at advantage, then it's a 16 plus what? Just it's a straight roll. So I'm not adding anything to it. There's no modifier of any kind?
Investigation.
Investigation. Thank you. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You're not a leatherworker yourself, but you are Kenneth. So you, during that time where you were like staring at him and looking him over pretty intensely, you do recognize that essentially what he was wearing was a heavily modified suit of studded leather armor. It did have the makings of this was something that was made by probably House Cannith, like probably a dragon marked heir of House Cannith. It does have the telltale signs, and maybe you kind of see like the crafting mark on one of the studs, very subtly hidden into it. But it is heavily modified, and it was magical. The nature of the enchantment you couldn't tell off sight, but it was a modified suit of studded leather armor to appear suitly, you know. So this was an advanced leatherworker craft.
All right. So if I wanted to do this, but with a breastplate, or maybe even with with a breastplate, just with the breastplate, because I want my Dexy.
Well, what do you mean by do this? Like you want to make a suit plate?
Mm-hmm. So
You could go ahead.
Like, she's a designer anyway. Like fashion's kind of been her thing, so she can't be going around not armed. Like every time she hasn't had her armor on, she's gotten ganked for it, right? So she's got to look good.
Got it. So, as you know, a breastplate sort of covers the entirety of the torso, front and back, and would even perhaps have some shoulder pauldrons at most. And what makes the breastplate so effective is that thorough, full body coating of metal, essentially. So, how are you making that a suit? Like, you know what I mean? A clothing suit.
So if you can think of fucking around with different alloys and magic and working in the plating into the shift weave, which is already a little bit illusory, so that the fabric lays over the body. With just enough ornamentation. And I can actually even send you like a couple of visuals, because it's almost corseted looking.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So there's a couple of things in that description I got to ask you about. So you said fabric, which tells me cloth. Cloth is considered fabric, right? Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to make a breastplate out of fabric.
No, the metal plating would be worked within that. Does that make
Okay.
sense? So think
So
of a
to
covering.
so you want to wear something over top of a breastplate, like a tabard, essentially, like what the Crusaders might wear, like a big something over top of
No,
it.
not at
Okay.
all. Tell you what, let me think about a better way to describe this. And let's just move on.
Okay.
Simply because I feel like that's not at all the direction, and I would rather think about it better and communicate it better than try to hammer it out right now.
Are you looking to John Wick a suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially at the end of the day, you want a suit with the same AC as a breastplate.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Now we're
Eric.
now we're in business. Now we're in
You want to?
business.
She wants a kingpin suit.
She wants a kingpin suit, right? Exactly. I'm understanding now. You don't want a breastplate. You want a suit that is as good as a breastplate. He's going to need to be very magical, tremendously magical suit. Um, because obviously metal's more durable than uh, that. So at its base, it's going to be It's going to be like a modified suit of padded armor because you're a weaver and you can do weaver stuff with padded armor. Because a suit's not metal at the end of the day. It's fabric. So it's going to be padded armor, and you're going to need to magic it. You're going to magic it up pretty intensely. I think is the idea here. So it's going to have a pretty high AC enchantment on it. So it's going to be a pretty potent magical craft. I don't think you're reaching breastplate level AC though with fabric.
Yeah, then it's probably not. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yep. No problem. Is there anything else that you'd like?
She'll spend the rest of the week at court.
At court. Okay, the Ondarian court.
Yep.
Sure. Is there anything that you'd like to do at court?
Yeah, when we were before the vote with the houses, Cross had said something about the queen, and I don't remember what it was. But I felt like it was decided that once we picked a house, we would go back and check in with her. So since he is gone, I would like to check in with the queen and, if not pick up where he left off, at least offer our services and whatever aid we can in whatever way she needs.
Okay. I would like you to make a persuasion check due to her relationship with Cross. Or her pre-established relationship with Cross. I'll give you advantage.
All right.
So give me a persuasion check to have this private audience.
That is a 21.
Excellent. You're invited to take afternoon tea with Her Royal Majesty Queen Orala Irwainar, fifth monarch of the sovereign nation of Onder. I will repost her handout. You come to the palace. You are brought to a very fine drawing room. Lots of lights, lots of finery, fabrics, whatnot. And you will be invited to have tea with her, little sandwiches and cookies and teas and such, and she'll welcome you in. We can skip the small talk if you wish, the polite small talk that proceeds if you wish. And at a certain point, so I'll ask you this. In your asking to see the Queen of Onder, how do you go about that? Would you have wrote a letter saying Cross had spoken to the Queen of Matters, most private, and I would wish to speak to the Queen on behalf of these matters or something like that? Would you have sent a letter alluding to the conversation?
I would have sent a letter ahead of time, but the letter would have said, Cross had mentioned that you were interested in our choice now that it's made. I would like to offer you our service. What can we do for you?
I see. Um, okay. You let's see here. Yeah, you still have tea. Um, and we'll play that out because this might be significant. So let's play this out. Um, she like welcomes you in. You sit. You're served tea, and she says, "Congratulations on your selection. I think you made a unique and unexpected, but nonetheless fine choice."
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Your missive said you wish to offer us your services. I must say that the mention was slightly unusual, considering your house has not yet established a guild.
Cross needed to leave town, but before he did, he mentioned that you had interests and had suggested that we could help. I understand that he needed to go. I also understand that you might not be in a position to wait. I'm not one to keep the queen waiting.
Most diplomatic. Tell me, what was this matter that Cross mentioned? Me and Cross have spoke at length on separate occasions. Refresh my memory?
It was when we were looking to choose a house, and it had something to do with Lyrandar or Denieth, and I honestly don't remember what. I truly don't. I simply remember that there was an offer of service, and I am wanting to follow up on that.
Did Lord Cross not tell you the nature of this business he has sent you on?
Truthfully, he did not. Nor did he send me on it. I am here of my own accord.
Then perhaps when he makes himself available, you might send Cross to refresh my memory.
Then to my own ends? You are looking to find out who's behind the airship catastrophe, yes?
Yes, of course, as it is well known that Ondare will not stand for such terrorism.
Is anyone looking into how it occurred? Is anyone looking into deconstructing that right now?
How it occurred? It was an explosion, was it not?
It was not.
I see.
Then
what was it?
It was an implosion. It doesn't sound like it's different, but it's actually radically different. It suggests completely different energies and a completely different understanding of the workings of the ship. Now, I would love to tell you more, but I need to be able to see something about the ship. I don't need trade secrets. I just need to know where energies were.
Where energies were? What does that mean?
It means in order to make something collapse in, you have to create a vacuum. A vacuum requires very specific energy directed in a very specific way. It's not going to happen around anything mundane. If I know where arcane energies were placed, I don't even necessarily need to know what they were.
You wish to understand then the nature of the destruction, and you believe it to be some magical vacuum.
Yes. It's very high level magic. I don't think just anyone can do it. I honestly believe if we can figure out what happened, it will point us to who did it.
How interesting. Well, then this is an avenue that we must discover. I have not heard implosion brought up by the Royal Minister of Magic. He is philosophized about conjurations as such, I believe he said, and as there is no remains to be found of the ship itself, perhaps you might indeed speak to Prince Adel and Rhiannon to investigate this lead further. He is, after all, the first warlord of Vendée and the Royal Minister of Magic. As far as my court goes, he is the one heading the investigation, or at least coordinating its efforts.
Prince Weinarn, then.
Indeed. My brother.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
And she will, as you rise, she'll say, good luck. And if there is indeed anything that the Court of Vendée could do, please let me know.
Eberron just kind of nods her head and go to the next place.
Yep, go to the next place, and you will be indeed deferred to the offices of Prince Adel Ilwainon. Doesn't look very much like a warlord. A bit of a thin man, an eloquent one who bears no real scars that you can tell of, but an eloquent one. And he says, he sort of welcomes you into his very, very fancy drawing room office and says, welcome. I was led to believe that you had a theory about the destruction of the Golden Dragon.
I know what I saw. And it wasn't an explosion. At least, the first part was an explosion. But it was a lateral blast, if I recall. The rest of it was an implosion. Which doesn't really line up with the fact that you didn't find anything. Because even if everything imploded, the mass would have been reduced. It wouldn't have been unmade.
This is interesting. I did hear some reports about your members of your particular houses and what you witnessed, but an implosion, and indeed no debris of any kind. It is a confounding mystery.
We were translocated, right? Like, we were all on the ship. Then we were translocated, like we were teleported. And I assume so was the court, through other means. So was the queen.
Yes, the royal family had secured the services of House Kandaric to ensure our security aboard the ship. Your inclusion in those security measures were most curious. We have spoken with House Kandaric, and they seem to claim to have no idea how you were all added to the enchantments.
Yeah, we don't know either. But what I do know is that matter doesn't just go away. Or let's put it this way. If it did just go away, we probably wouldn't be standing here because the energy blast would have created so much incredible heat just at once, right? So if there was no matter, that means it went somewhere. And we know that there are teleportation magics involved. So did it go somewhere else? Did it go off plane? I don't know.
He waves his finger. He waves his finger, and essentially, like a file sort of comes off the shelf and is displayed before him and flips open. And he says, "Yes, a description was given of the actual blast, if I'm not mistaken, by you and your party. It was said that it collapsed in on itself violently and vanished. And yes, the word implosion seems to be referenced. I've been working with the Arcane Congress. It is a good theory to go for, but if matter is entirely displaced in a vacuum, that matter has to go somewhere. So it is my theory that indeed conjurations were involved. I mean, as you say, matter does not just disappear. And if the blast was so destructive that it was reduced to ash, then it would have been a fucking explosion. And you did not see an explosion. Unless, of course, it's you who exploded it.
No, there would have still been matter, evidence. There is
Make a
no
persuasion check.
evidence. Ah! She's good at these, and that was a good roll. 21.
21. He kind of laughs. Like, it's sort of like, it was a joke. He was like, unless you did it. And you're like, no. And then he kind of like, and it's like, obviously, we're all joking together. And he says, anyway, yes, it is most troubling. Well, everyone to high heaven is on top of this. Your implosion theory, I think, has great merit. It's not like any other conjuration that I've ever had described to me personally. I'm working with the Arcane Congress to see if they can deconstruct the actual imagery of the explosion. It would be helpful to have been able to see it. It might be good to have your first-hand expertise to describe it to the wizards.
Can I please help? Please, gods, can I help?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I would love to be useful. Thank you. Excellent. Where do we go?
Absolutely. And we'll kind of go to a downtime thing there. You have offered your services to the Sentinel Marshals. You have now offered your services to the Royal Minister of Magic and his cohorts in the Arcane Congress. Which faction do you lend your expertise to? Because everyone's looking for it, and there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, but nobody has actually taken me up on it yet.
The Sentinel Marshals have made the offer. The Royal Minister of Magic has made the offer. Which would you like to go with?
Hold on, to protect them or to work the investigator? Now I'm confused. I'm sorry. Above the table, I am legitimately confused. I apologize.
So the Royal Minister of Magic just said, we would love you to come work with us and talk about deconstructing this implosion theory.
Right.
And when they came to your house, Sentinel Marshal Feather took you and Cross up on your offer to aid in the investigation, if you recall.
No. Fuck. I'm sorry. No, I thought they were actually two different things happening. Ryan, I apologize.
Two different things happening?
Never mind.
It's all good. No, it's all right. It's not a bad thing. You have multiple offers on the table. It's not a
yeah,
bad
all
thing.
right. She will take it back to the house too.
Okay, beautiful. Decide which one you want to go with,
Yeah.
or and hey, there might be a third party that you might want to lend your services to more, but that's for you to decide. All right, we've had a round around the table. Why don't we go to a break, in which I am going to very kindly kick you all out, except for Cross. If you are with me, Cross.
I'm here.
Beautiful. All right, guys. So all of you hop out of the call, and I will shoot a message in the Facebook when it's time to return.